Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Kryptonian saying here, bringing you guys another review for Black Clover, and chapter 331 is done in the books, and this is going to be one of those chapters where everything is about to change moving forward, because we have quite a few seeds of development, and obviously we have the huge elephant in the room, that major betrayal that Julius was not who we thought he was. I will be the first one to say that last week I said, like, hey, I think that we need to wait a little bit. While I'm disappointed that there haven't been any major deaths in this Spade Kingdom invasion, maybe all of these fake outs that we're getting is going to be like Black Clover pulling a One Piece, where when the deaths finally happen, it's going to absolutely hurt. It kind of feels like that just happened. I did not expect a reveal like this, and I did not expect for Tabata to drop a body a week after I said that. I thought that this was going to be a long-running build-up, but wow, this makes sense. Again, we're going into the final arc, and Tabata's showing like, yo, when I catch a body, it's going to be significant. This is a significant body right here, as is the reveal of Julius being evil. Before we get into the chapter recap slash review, I have to say the symbolism makes a lot of sense, because in one of the very first panels that we see in Black Clover, we see Julius and he's got his eyes shaded out and it's saying that he led the Magic Knights against invaders to try to come into the Clover Kingdom. And now all of a sudden you go from that ominous panel where his eyes were shaded before and you couldn't really see him, to all of a sudden now we realize that the Julius that we thought we knew wasn't actually the Julius that we thought we knew, and everything we knew about the character has to be called into question from now on, whether it be if Julius was planning the whole defeat of Lucifer from the very moment that he touched Asta's sword, and when he felt Asta's sword drawing out the magic power that was inside of him because of how anti-magic works, and because he was looking over at Yuno and he saw the grimoire that Yuno had and he started formulating that plan. The same thing with how Julius just happened to develop the two wizards who were in possession of the magic needed for the quill. If that's one of those things where this is a One Piece level genius IQ buildup, where the moment you see this reveal with Julius, it makes you go back and reread the whole manga and you see all the clues that are there. I really feel like at the end of the day, Tabata, when this gets said and done, we're gonna have to put his name up there. We're gonna have to give this man his flowers. And it's one of those things where I've said in the past, like, if One Piece came out now, as well as some of the other series that came out in the late 90s, early 2000s, they might not go over as well, because we as fans have gotten impatient. And I will be the first one to say myself, there have been times where I'm like, man, how come this isn't happening, only for the very next chapter to have that same thing take place. So now that my initial thoughts in the chapter are out of the way, let's get into the actual recap itself. So I like how this chapter opens up and we have Yuno being brought to the attention of his mother. And what I like about that is that in the same chapter where Yuno gets to meet his mother, you have Asta also talk about the fact that because he was able to share Libe's memories, he was able to learn everything about his mother, and he was able to get closure. And what I like right here is that Tabata is foreshadowing something that I've been saying ever since I've been re-uploading Black Clover videos onto this channel, which is, now that we know Yuno has a whole kingdom, that Yuno has a birth claim to the right of the throne. Once Asta becomes the Wizard King, Yuno's probably going to become the king of the Spade Kingdom. And when they get asked, hey, Yuno, are you going to return to the Spade Kingdom? We need your strength. There's a lot that needs to go on. Yuno's mother can hold everything down. Yuno knows that. And Yuno basically says, there's still stuff that's uncertain about the future. I have things that I have to do in the Clover Kingdom. I have a promise to my rival that I need to keep. I have my Clover Kingdom family I need to look after. I can't make any commitments yet. That's basically what Yuno's saying right here. And what I like about this is that as Asta gets his closure with his mother via that conversation with Libe, and as Yuno is making that conversation with his own mom, you get this beautiful shot where both of them say that they're going to become the Wizard King. And the reason why that works so well is you just have the buildup, because you're seeing two stories unfolding at the exact same time. And what I like here is that when Asta tells Libe like, hey, and that really makes me happy. Libe also reciprocates and says, it's my turn to make your dream of becoming the Wizard King come true. And you get very beautiful foreshadowing because, again, you see that clock as Asta's sitting on it, which is just showing that, okay, we're getting closer to the Julius reveal. And what I like here is that as we see Asta talk about the fact that, like, hey, we need to convince the people in the Clover Kingdom that you're not a bad person. When he's talking to Libe, he has a very ominous line. He's like, man, I hate that guy on the Magic Council who has the scales. And the same person that Asta's talking about, lo and behold, when he starts walking into Julius's office, Julius is just running through everything inside of his head. And this is where it kind of feels like you get the tragedy of Julius as a character. This is some Sasuke Aizen level stuff. Like, you have this moment where Julius, he's thinking to himself, he's gotten the report about everything that's happened in the Spade Kingdom. He's like, man, something just isn't right. I'm thankful that the battle in the Spade Kingdom ended the way that it did, but something isn't right. And he's replaying all the events in his head. And he's like, you know, I've always felt something. I can't put my finger on it. That's when Julius gets confronted about the fact that, like, hey, I went through all of the devil hosts in our country. I went through the history, through all these documents from more than 20 years ago. There was no mention of Megicula being listed in the Quilla. She's not listed as a supreme devil. Now, the underworld has 3 rulers. You got Lucifero with gravity magic. You got Beelzebub of spatial magic. And then you got Astaroth of time magic. And the working hypothesis for a moment is maybe Megicula took over Astaroth's place. However, that's when you just see all these fragmented memories taking place, and then that's when you get the reveal that Julius says, it's me. And Julius is speaking, and you just see in that moment how Julius' eyes, in particular the shading around it, is really conveying the emotion, that sense of dread. Very good right there. The same thing with that black background behind him. Very good artistic choice right there. And what I like is that you get this lower left-hand panel of Julius's eyes where you see the change taking place, and then you have the grimoire shown at the top of the page, and our 4th sibling, Lucius, has just caught a body, and as he catches the body, that's when the supreme devil that was on the battlefield shows up. He's got Lucifer's heart, and he says everything has gone according to how you planned it out to be. And the reason why that's so huge is, again, that's just some Sasuke Aizen stuff where everything was going in the way that he manipulated it. Everybody thought that Julius was this kind-hearted person. It might be a split personality type of situation. However, if it does end up being that Lucius was putting on an act the entire time, I know people are still clinging to the split personality. I'm leaning more so on the side of Lucius was the one that was doing everything, conscious of it, and that this whole thing with Julius was just an act. However, I will admit there is some room to say that Julius was just a separate personality that was made over the time. That is possible. However, the thing that we have here is that you have the grimoire, and that's why I'm kind of looking at this saying I think everything was Lucius in complete control of this. The grimoire is 2 spades on top of each other, and that's like the ultimate troll move right there. This dude basically has a foothold in every kingdom. Like, that's the thing that I find very interesting right there. And what I also like is that the chapter ends off with Lucius saying time's up, and this is a hell of a cliffhanger right here. This is a hell of a cliffhanger because this is one of those times where when you look at it, it becomes clear that Asta is going to feel betrayed. Yami damn sure is going to feel betrayed. So is William. And now that line where Julius says, I would like for William's body not to be harmed. Now we see why this was all planned out. This is so interesting. As a fan of Julius, Julius was one of my favorite characters. I do feel betrayed, but in a good way though. I like surprises like this. So what I want to know from you guys is, my chapter question is where does this rank in terms of the biggest anime betrayals of all time? Where does this rank for you in terms of shonen? Let me know down in the comment section below. So always, guys, like anything I had to say, don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much for watching to the end. Have an awesome day, guys.